Last week we considered how neighborhood missional communities are where disciples are trained, equipped, and encouraged. The ideals of sharing life together, supporting one another, encouraging one another, bearing with one another's burdens, and spurring one another on towards the mission of God sound great, but there are powerful forces at work that will discourage you from joining a missional community. One of these barriers has to do with our own understanding of who we are. In the Canadian context, from the earliest ages, we are told that we're consumers. From the earliest point of your upbringing, you were taught that your purpose was to consume and to purchase stuff and get stuff, and your identity quickly became tied to what you have and the brands you wear. According to a CBS News report, we've gone from watching 500 ads a day in the 1970s to 5,000 ads today. And all these advertisements are reinforcing your identity as a consumer. And it's well documented that consumerism has harmful effects for your family, for your community, and for the environment. At the heart of the consumer craze is the question, what can I get? And this question has creeped its way into the church so that people go church shopping looking for a church that will satisfy them and meet their needs. But at the heart of discipleship, Jesus said to deny yourself. If we approach joining a missional community asking the consumer question, what's in it for me? The odds are you're not going to join. It's not that there's nothing in a missional community for you. It's just that Jesus' way of growing and maturing people said that you have to lay down and surrender your life first before you can gain it. Missional communities is where we give our lives to others, not for our own sake, but for the sake of the mission of God being extended. Missional communities is where the core identity of Jesus can become our core identity too. Jesus said that the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. And that the person who wants to be first must become the very last and the servant of all. This servant identity was so central to the early church that when the disciples wrote their letters, they would write them of Paul, an apostle and a servant of Jesus Christ, or Simon Peter, a servant and apostle of Jesus Christ. You get the idea. The outlook and perspective of a consumer is far different from a servant. Missional communities are going to reinforce a servant identity. If neighborhood missional communities is where disciples are trained and encouraged and equipped, then we must confront competing forces that will keep people from joining into the discipleship experiment. One of these competing forces is consumerism.